Hi, everyone. I'm Donna Norris, Soul Level Intuitive. Thank you for being here with me tonight. I was just getting ready to get started here and drew a few cards. I thought I'd go over them with you. The first one that I drew was just, what do I need to know? Talking to my angels, what do I need to know to be of best service during this next hour? And the card I pulled from the Archangel card deck was Raziel, and it was about clairvoyance, and that he is here with me, to help me see, to help you, so that I can deliver messages and be closer to heaven. Hi, Jessica Lynn, and help us all get closer to heaven. And then I drew some cards from Wisdom of the Oracle for tonight, and just to see kind of what the energy is. I know how it is with me. Hi, Pure Joy Ellen. I'm glad to see you. And I got Wisdom of the Oracle cards here. If you guys aren't familiar, I love them. Call it Baron Reed's deck. And the first card I got, kind of the way things have been. Hi, Susan B. Hi, Dee Marie. Nice to see y'all. Where I've kind of been, where the energy's kind of been, is in yin, and yin as opposed to yang. And this is the feminine form of energy and being in receptivity mode and kind of stepping back and turning into, instead of being, let's go, fight, 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 go, 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 do, 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 this more like sit back and be receptive, be perceptive, and be observant. Hi, Christina. It's nice to see you. And so then I wondered, okay, so what's the present card? And what came up was serendipity, but in protection. And to me, serendipity is all about like when things just sort of like boop, 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 all the dominoes fall and the cards fall into place. Everything just seems to click without almost any effort on our part. And then lately, though, I don't know about y'all, but it has felt like things felt like they're sticking, that like what didn't really feel like it was in the flow. These are just things in my personal life, certainly in my travel. I went to see my daughter, which is why I've been offline for a little bit in Oregon, and that was fantastic. And I actually got to meet Christina O in person because she lives near my daughter. So that was really, really fun. But on the way back, I had 4 flights over the course of 2 days to get from Oregon to far South Florida. And in the process, they lost my luggage. Things were just hitting walls. Flights were delayed, flights were rerouted, weather was popping up everywhere. And so it sort of spilled over even after I got back and tried to get back into, my routine and my flow, and things are going in a different direction. Hi, Gina. Nice that you're here. Thank you for coming. I'm just doing a reading on my energy and the energy of this society, of our tribe, I guess. And just to let you know what I got. Serendipity and protection, though, I'm going to read it because it just blew me away. Um, Hang on a second. It says, perhaps you felt almost certain that serendipitous events were meant to lead to something better. And I've been feeling like that. It's just sort of become a little more disjointed since the holidays. It was supposed to be the perfect business, or the person you met was supposed to be the one, but everything just seems to fall apart. Consider that sometimes synchronicity and serendipity come together to lead us directly into difficulties so that we can deliver an important lesson that we need to learn before we hit the jackpot. So it says, don't get caught up in the drama of disappointment. There really is a silver lining in the cloud. And I thought, okay, well, that makes total sense. And Spirit does always know what we need. And perhaps I need to learn from a few more skin, knees, and elbows before I'm ready to truly step into what it is I had been planning to do for this year. And then the very next one is peace. That's for the near future for us. The peace card in protection. And what that means is it's a time to be calm and nurture a sense of well-being in ourselves in spite of the outward circumstances. In the music of our life, you must sometimes go within and fine tune the extraordinary instrument that you are. So find harmony within yourself, not looking to the outer world to provide certainty. Because one thing I have been saying over and over and over again for the last few weeks, and that says there at the end of that message, is that, nothing comes to stay, it comes to pass. And so, even this period of time in our lives and in our world, the way things are, it's not going to stay this way. It's going to change. That's the one certainty, is the constant of change. And since I got back, you'll notice that Bogey's wearing a onesie. He had to have surgery yesterday, and they don't do combs anymore, which I think is really awesome. He's wearing this onesie so that he can't lick his wound. Isn't that cool? And he's doing a little bit better. So he just gets a little antsy and walks around a lot. So anyway, I'm going to get started now, trying to be of service to you and do as many readings as I can in the next hour. Anyway, thanks for listening. And I hope if any of that resonated with you, glad. And if not, we'll just move right on. Take what you like and leave the rest, as I always say. AK says hello, but can't stay. I'll watch the replay. Thank you. I'm glad you tuned in, stepped in. And if you have any comments after, please feel free to leave them on YouTube in the comments. Pure Joy LN says, I took my dog Izzy to the vet today. Couldn't pinpoint the source of her fever. Can you ask her what hurts and what she needs? She's a sweet senior. Thank you. Yes, of course I can try that. Let's see if we can tune into Izzy. So as Izzy comes into my space, I feel like she's got this really, really soft fur, and she absolutely loves to be petted. She especially likes when you like on the top of her head, like between her ears, and just sort of like just the palm of your hand petting on her head is what I'm seeing. And so let me just see how she's doing. She's moving a little slower, she feels like, than her usual. And I'm asking her for permission to do the body mapping. That's where I get to feel in my body what she feels in hers. So hang on. Okay, make sure she's good with it. So I'm going to close my eyes so that I can clear my field, clear my energetic body field, and tune in. And I'll take you to where she guides me first, okay? So Izzy, what is feeling like when I feel like I'm swallowing food and it's just going in slow-mo down into my stomach, and then it just kind of like plop, sits there, like it doesn't go through and get processed and go on through the system. It's like everything is going slow. And hmm, there's not a whole lot of pain, in the stomach and intestinal area. It's just strained, if that makes sense. The body's trying to process and it's just going slower. And this almost feels like it came upon her suddenly. Like one day she was fine, the next day she didn't feel good. So when I ask her, like, do you know if you ate anything, or, did you do anything different? And she's just like literally getting the shrug shoulders on the dog. Picture a cartoon animal sitting up on their hind legs, and then they have shoulders. That's what she looks like in my mind's eye. Um, I do feel like there's something else going on in another organ that maybe is not in the digestive tract, like the kidney or the liver or something. I don't know dog anatomy well enough to be able to tell you, but it's in my stomach. It's on the right-hand side, my stomach or my abdominal area. I don't know if you've noticed that she says she goes from being like not thirsty to super thirsty. If you've noticed that has times when she's drinking a lot of water, and then when she doesn't really want any water. But it almost feels to me like that she either ingested something that has had the effect of just slowing down her metabolism, if you know what I mean, or she came in contact with something. It's interesting you say she has a fever, but when I tune into her headspace, I'm not really feeling any heat up in my head. I'm feeling a little bit of kind of like confusion. She says she doesn't feel like her legs are. She doesn't feel as steady on her feet, if that makes sense. Um, Now, when you ask me to ask her what she needs, I will see if she has anything in mind. She's showing me like something really soft and fluffy to lay on that's got like, oh, back in the day before they made memory foam, they used to make egg crates, the egg crate foam that that would give them some buoyancy and a place to lay and be comfortable. And I'm getting a taste in my mouth like chicken noodle soup. You know how chicken noodle soup has that broth that's got just a little bit of salt and spice to it and savory feeling, and but that's what it tastes like to me. So I don't know if you ever feed her chicken Pure Joy, Ellen, or not, but it might be a good time to maybe a baked chicken or a rotisserie chicken shredded or something like that as a topper for her food if the doctor doesn't feel like it would hurt her stomach anymore. She doesn't really know. There's not anything that I'm getting that hurts a whole lot, just this sluggishness in my gut. So I hope that's somewhat helpful. Let's see if you have any feedback. Oh my gosh, the chat blew up. Sorry, y'all. I shouldn't. Yes, not steady does make sense. She got under skin hydration today. Oh, good. Well, like what they do that subcutaneous fluids. So probably doesn't want water today. This did come on suddenly. Okay. Well, she is really not knowing as much about it even than we are. Kind of like sometimes we don't know what goes on with us and why we're feeling the way we're feeling. So I'm going to move on. I hope that some comfort to you to know that she's really okay. She's not in a lot of pain. Hi, Carl. Nice to see you. Hi, Kathleen. Oh, so glad everybody's here. Christina says, oh, please use all caps and add question marks if you have a question for me. That would really be helpful. Yeah, question at the beginning as well as at the end so that I can get past the comments and get to the questions. Thank you so much, Christina, for that reminder. That's super helpful. Kathleen wants to know, can you tell me if I had a past life as a Native American? That might require a little more in-depth session, but let me just see if I can tap in. Archangel Raziel is with me, and he says I have my clairvoyant skills are going to be able to do it for me. So let's see. Oh, wow. What I'm getting, Kathleen, I don't know if this makes sense for you, but I am seeing like before the era of the Indians, when the United States was pushing west and we were, encountering Indians, fighting with Indians, then hauling them away to reservations. And it's before that era. way before, and you're wearing animal skins, and you are a man, and you are hunting. It feels like you're out on like a high plateau or the high plains, and it's winter is coming, and your tribe is trying to gather food for the winter, and you're going after big game, like a buffalo, like a big moose or a buffalo. So yeah, I guess the short answer would be yes. But it's like way before, any white men were on the scene. So thank you for the question. Lalunas has a question. Oh, and I keep forgetting. See what I mean? I'm just like not in sync. My dog Herschel has been very lethargic and gained weight. Might you see what he needs, please? Let's see if I can bring Herschel in. I love the flowers or whatever that is on your icon too. That's really cool. So as Herschel comes in, it's almost like he's coming in sideways, like crossfitted, coming and looking around. Like he's coming in and then his front feet are like crossing around back to look back behind him. That's so funny. As I tune into him, he says he's feeling all right. He says he's sleepy, more sleepy. I don't know if that makes sense for him these days, if that's been at the time of the same weight gain. I'm going to ask him if he wants to do the body mapping with me. Okay. All right. So let me close my eyes, clear my field. Hmm. What I'm drawn to first is my chest area, La Luna, and it feels really tight, like either there's something going on with the lungs or the heart, but it feels to me more like it's in the back of my chest, which is usually symbolic of heart. So I don't know if you've had him to the vet recently, or if he's getting to an age where heart problems, fluid on the heart might be a deal. But that's kind of what it feels like. It just feels like tightness, like there's fluid in my chest area. It doesn't feel like lungs. So, asking him about water consumption, he doesn't feel like he's drinking any more water than he was before. Um, so I don't know if that makes sense for you. Let me see if he has any need that he can speak to about this. He's showing me getting out, going for a walk, not a long walk, just getting out, getting away from what he's around all the time. New smells, something new grass if he's not used to that, or a park or something that he's not necessarily used to being in a new environment, just to kind of stimulate and get him out of his routine. That he would love to have that time with you, and he would love to have that time outside. Thank you, Herschel. Thank you. And he says, don't worry. He says, don't worry. Thank you, Herschel. So I hope that's somewhat helpful. I don't know, I'm not a vet, but it just feels tight in my chest. Okay. Venus, hey, Venus, how are you? For the past few months, I've been, whoops, sorry, here we go. For the past few months, I've been thinking about getting a little furry pet. Not sure what yet. My question is, how would Roxy feel about it? It's been her and I for her whole life. Well, let's just see. Well, as Roxy comes in, she immediately is showing me like she's a big dog in a play yard full of littler dogs. And she's just, going around and making friends. And it's like she's very nurturing. She's like a nurturing dog by nature and sweet by nature. I don't know if this makes sense for you, but I feel like she wants to be part of the choice. So if it's possible for you to take her where they are so that she can get to know them and she can visit, maybe that play yard is like at a rescue facility, when they're all out at recess or something, or maybe it's the dog you're thinking about, a couple of dogs that you can't decide between if it's a dog. If it's a cat, same story, a couple of animals that you can decide between. And then just see how they do. But she's of the opinion that yes, she would like to have a companion. Yeah. So I hope that helps. And you'll have to check back with us. And if you decide to get another dog, that would be awesome, or another cat, whatever you decide. I hope she gets to be part of it. Thanks for saying yay for no cones too. And how is your mom, Lynn? I'd love to hear that. Hope she's doing better. Steve, hi. Nice to see you. Carl says, may I hear from my spirit team for specific messages I need to know now? Will there be some income before the Holy Week coming for me? Thanks. Okay, let's see what we can do, Carl. Whoops. I got it. Like I said, y'all, I'm just a little out of sync. Here we go, Carl. As I tap into your guides, they're one of them is saying, you know, like slow down, and the other one is saying like really like pinch your pennies. I don't know if you're familiar with that phrase, but um, hold on to your money. No, nothing that you don't absolutely need. That when I do that yardstick where they show me whether it's like happening right now, there is money coming in, but it doesn't seem to be this week or next. God, I wish the news were better. Sorry, Carl. And I hope I'm wrong, but that's what they're showing me. So just yeah, keep your cards close to your chest, and I wish you luck. Gina M has a question. Let's see. Hi, Gina M. Okay, what is it I need to know for the next month regarding job and about Rick? Okay. So it's almost like they're speaking in unison. There are three entities, three guides, main guided and helper guides, I guess. Um, stay in listening mode. Stay under the radar. Watch and observe. Started to say watch and learn, but it's more like just watch and observe what's going on in the dynamics at your job, like not just your relationship with other people, but the relationship between your coworkers and each other, and see what's going on. There's something going on. Tell me if that makes sense, or if you're in the process of looking for a job, because that could mean something totally different, what they're saying. Um, Watch and observe. There's something maybe going on in the getting ready to make an offer for a job, or let you know that there's a possibility of a job. But this, it's sort of like watch and observe is what I'm getting. Whoa. And let's see about Rick. Well, there, I'm being shown an image, and I think it's a metaphor, but like Rick is just walking along, and then shoom, he turns all of a sudden and just arches his back and barely misses a blow, like he barely misses getting hit with something, like literally like dodged a bullet. So I don't know if that makes sense for Rick's perspective or your perspective with him. But he's like jumping away to avoid something. So I hope that helps. I'm getting behind, and I shouldn't have talked so much about cards in the beginning. Oh well. Susan B says, your sweet dog wouldn't do that. No, he might like to, but he hasn't tried that yet. That's funny. He might still be a little bit out of it and getting over the anesthetic. I don't know. Jessica Lynn has a really good question here. May I have a message from my guides for the rest of the spring season? Anything I need to know? That's a really cool icon. It almost looks like sacred geometry, but with a floral bent. Nice. I'm going to do cards. A change in the wind is what the kind of state you've been in. So there have been some changes going on. And orphaned is where, but in protection mode, which is like, sorry, change in the wind. You can see the gazebo on top of the zebra, and the zebra changing its stripes. That's what you've been in. Shingles flying off the gazebo. And then this, here's orphaned, but in protection. And it's just this real lonely, adrift, all by yourself kind of feeling. I don't know if you have been feeling like adrift and alone lately. And then what it's saying for the rest of the season, though, is building blocks. So that's all about, doing the footwork, putting things into place, continue with the routine, be consistent, and things are going to fall together a little bit more, come to fruition a little bit more in the summer. So I hope that helps. Thank you very much. Christina says, as a question, if a pet passes, is it good to take some time before you schedule time with a pet medium, such as myself? Is it better or easier to connect after a few days or weeks or months? That's a great question. Sometimes it depends on the animal. Sometimes it depends on the person. I usually like to suggest give yourself time to have that full-on grief, the just deeply intense grief that comes, you'll think you're fine after a few days, and then all of a sudden another wave hits you, and it goes like that, for a few weeks and sometimes months. But the worst of it, you can usually raise your vibration enough in a reading after a couple of weeks have passed to be able to create that three-way loop that I like to create in order to bring the animal in and to receive messages clearly that you can also receive with your whole heart. So like I like to give it a couple of weeks. Also, when I say it depends on the animals, sometimes animal souls are young souls, and just like with people, some of us are younger souls and not as many evolutions, and others of us are older souls. I know we all like to think we're old souls, but I've been thinking lately maybe I'm a young soul, younger than I ever thought, and I didn't think I was all that old of a soul to begin with, but if you're a younger soul, when you get to the other side, it takes a little bit more time than an older soul would to get used to not having this physical form anymore. It works the same way with animals as it does with humans. It takes them a little bit of time to get used to being in spirit form, to learn to send you signs, to learn to manipulate energy, make lights flicker, create a vision in your mind's eye, come to you in your dreams. If they're a younger soul, it can take a little bit of time. So the first part of that question, though, is you have to be in the place where you can raise your vibration enough to receive the message. So give yourself enough time to get over the worst of the grief. If you're able to do that after a few days, that's fine. And then if your animal is also, evolved enough and able to come through clearly in a few days, that's fine too. I have had animals, come through the next day after they pass. But most of the time, the clearest and best readings come after a few weeks. So thank you so much for that question. Oh, Karen S. Good evening. Hi. Oh, what a cute kitty. Love it, love it. Wondering if my current job is the disappointment before my eventual silver lining, or if I should give it a chance to turn around. So frustrated. Thank you. Well, it's like they said, now's the time to just sort of be in that yin perspective. If you go back to the card reading at the very beginning, where, we just sort of watch it and observe and be receptive, not try to take the lead, just kind of try to go with the flow. Let's see what your guides have to say. So what they're showing me is there's some stuff going on, not with necessarily with your boss, but like with your boss's boss, and it's pressure. Some things are going to have to shift, and some things are going to have to change from a management perspective, from a fiscal budget kind of perspective. And they're pulling in, and so they're creating, because they're in this state of not at ease. I don't want to say disease, but dis-ease, where they're feeling this pressure, they're feeling this need to make a shift and not being really quite sure how to shift it. And that kind of malaise has sort of filtered through the office, and nobody's really feeling all that inspired or enthused, if you know what I mean. It's sort of settled on a wah 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 sort of atmosphere in your office. If you're the one that's upbeat and positive, no wonder it's frustrating. They're saying, as far as giving it time, yes, give it a little time to sort itself out, hang in. Also, if there comes up a problem, try to address it in as calm and dispassionate a manner as possible, or some kind of, not necessarily a problem with another person, but just a challenge at work, and try to see if you can discern an answer or a solution so that you can present the problem to your boss, but also present your idea for a solution. Whether they take your idea and tell you to do it or not is not as relevant to the guides as it is showing them that you have the initiative and that you are trying to be self-starter and problem solver and team player. That'll get you noticed. That will be noticed, I should say. Sorry, excuse me. Anyway, they said that will be noticed if you can do that. So I hope that helps, Karen. And thank you. Carl says it's never too early to connect with past loved pets, so ask away anything you'd like to know. If they're ready, it's never too early. It's about us and where we are in our grief. So yeah, that makes sense, Carl. And Susan agrees with Carl, yeah. like I said, I've been able to bring pets in like right after. Steve B says, "Hi, Donna. I was wondering if there was anyone on this other side who has a message for me. Thank you." Whew. This might be better suited to an hour-long session also so that we can bring through more than one person. But let's just see if there's anybody coming through. I see a man coming forward, and this man is in wearing a uniform. And it's as if I'm being made aware and seeing that it's like part of his job. This was uniform service. Don't necessarily know that it's the military, but it's wearing uniform was part of his job. And now it's like he's gone from wearing uniform to wearing like a dress shirt and pants. And I don't know if you would understand, but I feel like this gentleman was married. Boy, this is really hard to do mediumship without getting feedback. So, Steve, if you're there, let me know if that makes sense for you. When I ask him, give me something that would be evidential, for you to help identify like how he crossed over, and he said it was very sudden. Because he's showing me his symbol for like he's standing up and then he's laying down. And it was over. But I do see everything that I'm being made aware of, every scene that I'm seeing in my mind's eye with this gentleman is that he was inside. He had to go outside part of the job, but predominantly was inside. So I don't know, Steve, if that makes sense, but I'd sure love to hear. And I guess I will move on. I'm not getting any feedback. Oh, pure joy, you made your dog rice and boiled chicken today. I hope that works. Hope that helps. Maybe it'll get the stimulate the digestive system. Hi, David H. Hi, Leslie F. Nice to see you guys. Hi, Barb V. Barb wants to know, should I remain in this home and state for the next 3 years? Thank you, Donna. I've had some thoughts along those lines myself, I have to say, and I just moved to this state. I lived part-time in Florida for almost 20 years. Now, finally, 2 years ago, I get here full-time, and I'm already going, I don't know. I'm in a blue dot city, but this red state is just something for me. Not to bring politics into this, but the one thing I do love about this place is that I don't have winter compared to most of the rest of the country, so I really love that. If I go somewhere else, it's going to have to be warm. Let's see. I'm going to do cards, Barb, just to see what it says. Happy, happy is what I'm getting first. So it's been peaceful and it's been contented, and you have felt like this has been a good place for you. But for the energy of right now, I got not for you. That this is not in your best fortune to consider a move. So going into the future, what about the next 3 years? Whew, this is really interesting. The deep knowing card. And as you can see, it's like The owl, the wisdom, the one who can look through and see to the heart of the matter, see beyond the surface to the heart of the matter, is sitting on the moon, and the earth is in the background. So I feel like you're going to come to a place within the next 3 years where you know if the time is right. And you will just know, and there will be no doubt at all about it. So I hope that helps, Barb. But for right now, it's not for you. Lori Christine says, my beloved cat Nathan, I remember Nathan and passed in January. Can you see who greeted him when he transitioned? Absolutely. Well, he says there was a cat, another cat, but you were there. And the reason it's possible for you to be there is because just like with all of us, when our souls get ready to come down from spirit form into body form and have another lifetime, not all of our soul self comes with us. We only bring maybe 50% of our spirit or 75% or whatever we think we're going to need to navigate the lifetime that we've planned for ourselves, right? But that other part stays up in the spirit world and stays in spirit. So whenever any of our animals pass, our spirit, our soul, is there to greet them along with any of the other of our deceased loved ones who might be back there fully in spirit, who knew the animal, that they were there. So you greeted Nathan, your soul, and you're reunited in spirit form. So you just know that when it's your turn to cross over many, many moons from now, Nathan will be there to greet you as well. You'll both be in soul form for a while together before either of you comes back into body form again. And I don't know what about y'all, but it's been in my training and my belief system, and what the animals have shown me is that they don't tend to switch species. I know some animal communicators and some psychics believe differently, but this is just my experience that cats have their own evolutionary path, just like humans. They're evolving. They may have gotten the unconditional love part down, but their souls are still evolving as well. And then as are we. So I hope that makes sense. When he comes back, he will be a cat again, at least in my belief. Thank you so much, Lori Christine, for that question. La Luna says she's going to get her pup to the vet quickly. She's been chronically ill for 5 years and haven't been able to walk him as much. So thank you so much. This gives me assurance. Yeah, maybe even if you're sitting on a park bench and just giving him the run on the lead, to sniff around and amuse himself. If you're not feeling up to a big long walk either, maybe that will be what he needs. It might be good for you too. So I hope it works. Susan B. Question says, I was told I had suffered in many past lives. Would you be able to feel anything like that for me? It makes sense why my life has been extra difficult. Thank you. So I'm connecting with your guides. And they're saying you have had lives of luxury and indulgence, and you've had lives of near slavery and poverty and nothing but hard work and hard labor. Ooh. And what they're saying is that you chose to have this lifetime of hardship and lessons because you're trying to knock out some major karma so that you can, take a big leap up on that spiral. And so this is why your life has been extra difficult in this iteration, that you're trying to get past some major stuff so that you can take a big leap forward evolutionarily, if that's a word. But they say before this trip is over for you, before this lifetime is ending, that you will have a period of ease and respite and just profound peace. And it will also help you to really integrate the joy in the lesson of getting to the other side. Kind of like when it switches from serendipity in the protection position to when it just starts all to flow. And to be able to appreciate, because of the hardship, really be able to appreciate the joy and the accomplishment of getting past everything that you've gotten past. And what they're also saying is you have a grandchild, or will have a grandchild, who is going to be a lot like you in terms of the path that they're on, and you're going to be able to share your experience in a candid way to lend them your strength, right? And your knowledge, and hope that things won't always be this difficult for them either. So, I don't know if that makes sense. Susan, if you're like 18 years old, just, this is what they're saying is going to happen later. But so yeah. So Sherry says, my mom passed 27 years ago this week on April 7th, 2 days after her birthday. Does she have any messages for me? Oh, Sherry, let's just see. First of all, she's showing me that she is coming down, and she hopes that you feel her like a cool, like just not even a breeze, but just a waft of cool air. That there are times when, you're in a well-heated home and it almost felt like, was there a draft or something? But that is like your mom's touch, that she's coming through with just this little shift in temperature, shift in energy when she's coming to be with you. And she's coming to be with you too, to provide you with the buoyancy, to try to lift your spirits, and help you keep putting one foot in front of the other, and to remind you to put your feet up, to take some time to relax and put your feet up. I'm literally like seeing you in a recliner with your feet same level as your head, just really relaxed. But she's working hard, to with you on like radical self-care, to help take care of yourself, and to comfort also. Because there has been like some pain, and she feels your pain, and the message is it will pass. That there is a lesson in this also. To hang in. Apparently, this whatever is going on with you runs in your family. Whatever this pain is, be it emotional or physical, whatever it is, it's she says it runs in your family. But there's so much love there and so much pride there, the person that you are and the woman you are. But she wants you to tune in, and she hopes that you can feel that just that little cool, not really breeze, but just that waft of cool, to know that that's your mama, and she loves you and she's with you. So I hope that helps, Sherry. And happy birthday to your mom. Lori Christine says, do you see me and my kitties moving to a better place soon? Gosh, let's see. See what your guides have to say. I actually see what they're making me aware of is you're like rearranging furniture and rearranging the art on the walls. Even if you're not like buying new, you're just kind of moving it around from place to place to kind of freshen the perspective of this place. But I do see like asking about down the line, not really seeing a move like in the near future. But I do see like shifting perspective and changing things around and kind of giving a fresh new look to your existing place. So that helps. And that's always fun. I'm about to do the same thing on my walls. I've got art that I haven't looked at in years. I'm going to pull it all out and hang it on the wall. Da-da-da. Carl says it helps a lot. Thanks, Carl. I just wish the news were redder. La Luna says, thank you so much for the reading on Herschel. You're so welcome. Venus says, that's a great idea. I will let her be a part of it. And my mom, Lynn, is doing good now. Yay, thanks. I'm so glad to hear it. That's awesome. Gina's going to watch and observe. Good. The energy is a bit weird in the office. Yeah, there's something going on with the bosses. Anja, oh gosh, I haven't seen your name in a little bit. Glad you're back. Has there been any improvement in my boy kitty Buddy's condition? Well, let's see if we can tune into Buddy. So as Buddy comes into my space, he doesn't come in like with his head up, but he comes in kind of with his head forward and just like this, kind of slinking in. And he's really doing that intensive stare thing, like he's giving you these looks. So I'm hearing it's the natural order of things. And I'm hearing I don't feel so bad. And he's showing me like I'm being made aware of an image of him like wanting to step outside, like on a balcony or on a patio or that kind of thing. Not sure if he's ever able to go outside or if he's strictly an indoor kitty, but just again being by this sunny window, and then all of a sudden I see him on the other side of the sunny window outside. So I hope that makes sense for you. But he feels like it's the natural order of things and that he doesn't feel so bad. So good. That's good to know. Gina says, I'm not sure with Rick. We'll keep that in mind. Thanks. Oh, yeah, that was the old dodged a bullet, avoiding something thing. Okay. Be interesting to know what that's about. Mary May Anstead says, hi, Donna. Any message for me from my spirit teams? Will I buy a house this year in Panama? Woo, cool. Let's see. We'll pull some cards on that too. Your guides are saying, you could. Of course, we all have free will. Of course, you could, but they're indicating that not to even start looking till toward the end of this year. Like I'm even hearing like, ho, ho, ho. Don't know if you planned on going to Panama for the holidays, but it might be a good time going into next year, according to what the guides say. So I'm going to pull a card or two and see what it says. Right now, it's to stay in thinker mode. Keep considering, keep your options open, keep looking, because it's in the present, you're still walking between worlds. So between the US and Panama and going, that's hilarious. Go the distance for the future. So it is going to happen. But like your guides are saying, you could do it this year, but I think you'd be better served to think about it, wait, walk between two worlds for a little bit longer, and maybe next year. Who knows? I think that might be good anyway, just from a world view perspective. Things that might be happening down in Panama, you would want to be cognizant of that, and know what's going on in their political and economic future before you make a shift. Because even if you're going to be retired, you're still going to have to exist in that culture and in that economy. Susan B says, my parrot chewed through everything to get at her surgery. It was difficult. Yeah. And he's doing the same thing. He's trying to like pull around the onesie. He's also Bogey's trying to like get it out from around his neck, and he's rubbing up against everything trying to get free. So he doesn't like to be confined, but I have to do this with him for 10 more days. So, yeah. I don't know how you could keep a parrot. Goodness sakes. Do they have cones for parrots? How do they even do that? Wow. I'd be interested to hear if you want to put it in the comments, Susan, if they like had to bandage the bird, or I don't know. So interesting. Bonnie McPherson says her dog connected with her the next day. Awesome. You're both in a place where you were ready for each other. That's really neat that y'all could connect. And Christina says that makes sense. Steve B, could you please let me know if someone has a message for me? And I love your owl mug. Hey man, this is Hagrid from Harry Potter. I've got my iced latte in it. I think I tried to connect earlier, Steve, and did you get the message from earlier about a male who came forward, and he wore a uniform for his job, and then later he wore a dress shirt and pants, as I recall, and that he was married, and that he died, I think it was suddenly. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you got that. My father was in the Air Force during World War II and then had a job wearing a suit. He died suddenly of a heart attack. Boy, thanks. I need to catch up with my own messages here. Okay. Iran Williams. Is it Iran or Iran? I have a meeting with two of my bosses on Monday morning about my performance as a teacher. I thought I did great this year as a teacher to 3/4 combo. Should I say anything at the meeting? I'm not sure I understand the question. You say anything about the 3/4 combo? Let me just tune in and see what your guides think. I don't have to understand it. 1 second. Should she say anything at the meeting on Monday? They are aware. They're saying they are aware of what you've done. Discuss an aspect of it as if they know, kind of thing, and just kind of go. They're saying to discuss an aspect of it, and something that made you feel fulfilled, and you felt like it really connected, and that there was just a real powerful, maybe a turning point moment, or something like that, but just something key that you facilitated or that you saw that encouraged you and made it helped them also to feel fulfilled and encouraged, the student. I hope that makes sense. Oh gosh, I'm going to get back with it, guys, I swear. You have a lovely profile. Nouveau says, I lost my brother Bob unexpectedly last September. Is he okay? Does he have anything to say to me, Connie? Let's see what I can find with your brother. So your brother comes in and says that you have this serious streak. And it served you well, but now your brother says it'd be the time to like give yourself a break and give yourself permission to lighten up, and to have some free flowing days, some, just fun days just for fun stuff. Yeah, yeah. Nobody knows better than him that life is short. He showed me an image of like, I don't know if this makes sense, about like of you kind of like towering over him. I don't know if you were a lot older than him, but he's showing me like looking up and you seeming so big to him. And then I'm seeing an image of you guys being the same height, and like, arms over the shoulders in a family picture kind of thing, that had to have been an image from when you were small. So I hope that makes sense, Nuvo. And I hope you enjoyed that message, and I hope you take a little time to go have some fun in your brother's honor. Steve, whoa. Steve B says, thank you. Appreciate that. Susan B says, he's my brother. Steve's my brother. Oh, cool. Nice. Bonnie says, well, I'm in Ecuador where winter is not trending. You're always welcome here if you ever want to get away or come check things out. Oh, I would love to come down there. That sounds awesome. Beautiful country. And I'm also hoping to go to Peru and some other places down there at some point. And then here's Lois moving to Belize in July. Oh my gosh. They're working on my casita and preparing my lot. Congratulations. Progress. Dang, how's your schnauzer? I hope your schnauzer's doing better. Oh my gosh, that's exciting. Just a few more months and you'll be on your way. Ooh, congratulations. Don't lose track of us though. Stay on YouTube. Hope you do. And then A Dove says, I've been in Florida since 2020. Been rough, but I absolutely love living by the ocean. Feels so right. Me too. I really get my spirit fed being by the water. We get up every morning and we walk around the perimeter of the island. Well, we're not right this second because Bogey can't walk as far right now. So we're just taking little trips around the block. But our normal routine is to walk a few miles circumnavigating the island. So I know what you mean. Something about the air and the water. Thank you, Adub. I wonder what part of Florida are you in? I'm down in the Keys. C.A. Brown says, I just saw you were here. Sorry I missed so much of it. Wilson and I say hi. Hi, C.A. Brown. Oh my gosh, I'm already after an hour. So, shoot, I've run out of time. So I apologize for those people that I didn't get to. Dang it. Susan B says, I want to take a big leap up. Oh my goodness, you're making me feel great. I'm so glad. That's awesome. Take that leap. It's going to be worth all this BS. You're just building up life experience. One of these days we're all going to evolve to the point where we're guides for the poor schmucks that are still coming through lifetimes down here. And all of this crap that we go through is going to be helpful to getting them past whatever it is that they're going to be going through in the future. So, hallelujah. Muses. Some ancient teachings say we choose our life's path before we are born, and we definitely, that's my belief. That's what I've always been told. If this is true, how do I choose better for my next life? It kind of might go back to what Susan was just saying. Sometimes we choose lifetimes of difficulty to help us evolve faster by, clearing karma or learning experiences, or making up for something, maybe making up for a couple of lifetimes of leisure. So you can choose better for your next life when you're kind of there and in the evaluation phase of it's not like the universe is going to throw up everything you ever did in this lifetime to your face, like in a judgment kind of way. But you do, I've seen over and over, a life review. And so when you're in that life review, that's when you'll probably start to be able to see what you want to choose for yourself that would make the next life better. So I hope that helps. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate y'all, and I will be posting and see you again soon. Thanks so much. Love you guys. Bye for now. Oh, God, before I forget, if you're still there, I'm going to be on Terry's channel, Holding Your Space with Terry Renner. So I will be with her next Thursday, the 17th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I'll be posting about it on my YouTube channel, but I just thought I'd give you guys a heads up on that. And for those of you who were with me and Deborah Rotman recently when we talked about angel stories, we're going to have the sequel about archangels the following Saturday, the 19th. So that will be at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, noon Pacific Time. So I hope you guys can tune in for that as well. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.